Everybody, welcome. Come on in. Live stream X's and Knowles presented by Knowles247.com. And today, I know you may be getting a little bit of deja vu because it seems every time either the three of us or the two of them come on here, we're talking about FSU's transfer portal quarterback target. And we've made videos talking about three of them. Well, Florida State got their guy, and it wasn't any of those three. So we're coming back with our third video talking about our fourth
No, we did talk about him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, we did.
So they brought it up. It was very, very prescient of you. Anyway, we're going to go in depth on Florida State's actual quarterback one in the transfer portal. That is Auburn by way of Stanford quarterback Ashton Daniels, somebody who got a very polarizing reaction online, not the person that Florida State fans definitely would have thought at the beginning or pre-transfer portal season that would be their guy leading them into 2026. Tough titties. It's Ashton Daniels season, baby. He is a senior, 6'2", 219 pounds from Buford, Georgia. He's a career 60% passer, 4,700 yards through the air, 24 touchdowns, 22 picks. Okay, but he's got some legs. 1,400 career rushing yards, 11 touchdowns. It's interesting. It didn't seem like Florida State was going to go this way. And then, I mean, to be just kind of fair, it seems like they were getting beat up pretty hard in the retention market. Some things pivoted. This kid was eager to get in. They were eager to have him. It seems like they valued him to a pretty high degree, higher than a lot of the fan base does. I'm interested, guys. I'm actually coming in pretty unbiased. The only thing that I know about him is the reaction that he's getting from people on the message boards and the internet. I've actually never seen a snap of Ashton Daniels play. Watching Florida State football for these past couple of years has taken up all of the emotional and intellectual bandwidth that I have, and I have no other time to devote to any other team. So this is going to be a first for me. You guys did look at his film in the last video for a little bit. We're going to be hopping in with a couple of games, trying to give you our fair perspective, what he does well, what he doesn't do well, and ultimately, I guess the kind of talent he needs to be surrounded by. But fellas, gun to your heads. Brief synopsis of this kid's game and maybe overall reaction before we get more in depth into the film. Adam, I'll kick it to you first.
I think it's hard to have a conversation about him just on surface because there's so many things tied to this take. I mean, I think they would they'll tell you lots of different things like, oh, this is who we wanted, and we love this guy, and blah blah blah. But I think that I think you got to have the conversation like this is the cheapest avenue you could have gone with a quarterback, and because of some of the things you talked about. So I mean, it's just like setting all that aside, which I think is a really big talking point when you're talking about this player.
Yes.
I mean, just as a football player and a fit, like he fits Gus's style of offense. I think what Gus liked to run years ago, with some zone read stuff, and I think he will run some of your RPO stuff decently. But I wouldn't say that it's his strength, but it's not a weakness either. He's a more physical runner. I think he's more decisive when running, also more decisive than Tommy was. Tommy, a lot of times, if we were called back to film reviews, Tommy a lot of times got caught kind of in between deciding whether to be patient and wait for something to come open in the passing game or to take off. And a lot of times he got stuck in between. Ashton is way more decisive, I feel like, and will take off and get what's there. I believe he works hard to try and stay ahead of the chains and to stay on schedule offensively. I think that's a goal of his when you watch him play. He's got a good arm, but I wouldn't call his accuracy a strength either, which is not far off from where Tommy, I believe he's a little bit better than Tommy was if you look at his data. I don't know. We'll see. I'm anxious to watch more. What did we watch the other night, Kev? We watched him against Bama.
Yep.
And I mean, we like some things, we dislike some things. We're going to try to let the tape do the talking tonight and not get stuck in like, oh, I hate this take, and just be stuck in that mindset. Because I don't like the take. I thought that they needed to be aggressive at quarterback, finally get the most important position on the field right. And I don't think they did that, but I'm going to try to, remove that bias and just be honest about his tape.
There's two conversations that are happening. One is the one that we're going to have in depth tonight, the pros and cons of the kid, what he does and what he doesn't do well. The other one is that big picture conversation. And I think that that's one that we'll definitely have in multiple facets after this transfer portal thing is said and done. But we're going to look at the pros and cons of the kid tonight. The big picture talk, which is what everybody I think is rightfully talking about. This is a move taking this kid as your quarterback one is showing that Florida State is nowhere near operating at close to 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%. This is not a Florida State quality caliber quarterback. It's not. It is now because of what Florida State football is at the moment, which is objectively kind of gross, but that's not this kid's fault. So we're going to see what this kid does well, but as like a sign of the health of the program take, we're not healthy right now. It's not good. We're Gwyneth Paltrow on Contagion. It's bad. Anyway, we're going to talk about all that later. It's been talked about before. It's probably going to be talked about a lot more based, especially with all the other stuff going on in the portal. You guys talk about it amongst yourselves. Tonight, we're just going to look at the kid and see what's good, what's bad, and what we can figure out and work with. Kev, how is that for kind of setting the parameters? I think that's about as good as I can do.
Yeah, I think we need to take a step back because it's easy to look at things like, and I've been doing it too, like you can go back and see when he's transferred out of Stanford, how Stanford fans reacted. Their reactions were, this is not a powerful quarterback. He's going to go G5 somewhere if he wants to start, if he wants to play. Good riddance. And this is Stanford. Stanford at a very low point in their kind of history. And they were saying, that this guy is not someone that we think is a valuable quarterback to have for top programs. They were happy that he was gone. And so you can see things like that and you can start convincing yourself, hey, I mean, these fans know something. They'd watched him for 3 years. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe you see all the time, kids step into a different system, find success. You put them in the right position, they find success. Whether or not Florida State's the right position, whether or not this is the kind of situation that would allow him to succeed, if he's got the talent to succeed, we'll see that in the film. But it is a little bit telling kind of the aura around the discussion of this guy. Baylor fans, when they thought that Baylor was his number one choice, Baylor fans were saying, this is a signal that we're hitting rock bottom, that this is the quarterback we're trying to get out of the portal. And so the optics of this take, the optics of this as being where Florida State is, irrespective of the talent of the kid, irrespective of how this happens, how he works out in the next year, because I do think a little bit of that is overblown. It's not great. Now, to talk about his stats, to talk about kind of who he is, what you can kind of gather out of the stats, he's a similar career rusher to Tommy Castellanos. I would argue that his highs are lower than Tommy's and his lows are higher than Tommy. I think Tommy had an elite year at Boston College, his first year starting as a rusher, and he kind of has dropped off as his injuries have accumulated over his career, where Ashton Daniels is more consistent. He's a bigger bodied runner. He can kind of take more hits. He's not a particularly effective passer. He does do a little bit better when it comes to simpler reads like an RPO, where he can get the ball out. But one concerning thing about his stats in that area, besides the completion percentage not being spectacular, is that he's pretty consistently towards the bottom of the year, bottom of the league, bottom of college football in terms of yards after catch. Whether that was at Auburn or that was at Stanford, it held true for kind of his 3 years he's played significant college football. That tells me that he's not leading receivers. He's not getting receivers in a position to be successful after they catch the ball, because the likelihood that he didn't have anybody that could get, like, he had bottom 10 yards after catch receivers at both places seems unlikely, but maybe that's what happened. So I think the numbers would tell you he's a good runner. He's going to be a consistent runner. But accuracy with passing, how he not just like can he complete the pass, but can he put his receivers in consistent positions to be successful after the pass, I think might be lacking when looking at the statistical evidence. I've only really watched the film with AB in the last time, but I haven't really gone back and watched a ton of his other film. So we're going to do that tonight, and we'll see if the stats tell the story or if the film disagrees with what my takeaway of the stat is.
I love it. I love it. Good framing. Let's throw the film on. I am also a little bit concerned that the Stanford fan base hit him with the au revoir, Shoshana. It was like very happy that he left. That kind of sucks, but we'll see if that's not a smart school. They don't know what they're looking at. They're a bunch of nerds. They don't know football. Let's just see what it looks like for us, the football guys.
Yeah, someone said as long as he doesn't turn it over. He's had turnover problems at
fumbles too, right?
A lot of fumbles, a lot of interceptions. Yeah.
All right. So
although I don't think I think he runs it a lot. I don't know if his fumbles are particularly.
He's got a lot of rushing attempts, especially at Stanford.
Okay. Like this.
I'm talking like games with like 22 carries.
Oof. Okay. So straight quarterback draw.
Yeah, I don't know if his fumble rate is particularly high for the number of carries.
So this is against Arkansas, and this is later in the game. He didn't start this game. He came in relief for Jackson Arnold.
And a lot of people were saying that there was like an NIL component onto why this kid didn't start, as opposed to just he was worse than Jackson Arnold, which is concerning.
They were trying to keep his red shirt.
Yeah, so I don't know. So there were some factors there. That's what people say, at least. The film will tell. Yeah, what do you guys see so far? Pretty tough runner, like Kev said.
He's got a live arm.
Speed. Yeah.
Auburn, based off the things I've seen of them, Auburn tried to simplify some reads, got him a lot of hitches, got him a lot of kind of quick game, get the ball out of his hands, 1-2 step throw. Use that arm strength to just get the ball up on somebody before a defender can close on it.
The picture's dirty, so he gets out of there. Like I feel like he makes snap decisions.
What do you mean by snap? Like maybe bails a little too early is what you're talking about?
No, he just makes quick decisions. He's not indecisive. Like he said, okay, picture's dirty. I'm out of here. I'm going to try to go make something happen with my legs.
And you think that's a positive, right? The snap decision.
I think it's so. I maybe I'm having this conversation in the framework of what you just had this past year. I think that's a positive over what we saw with indecisiveness out of Tommy.
Okay, great point. What are they running here, guys?
It looks like some kind of RPO where he's looking at that safety dropping and hands it off.
Looks like you're maybe going to throw a glance on the backside. I don't know.
Are there going to be any similarities to the type of stuff that he ran with Freeze at Auburn and what he'd run with Gus here at Florida State? And anything that might mesh well, or that you guys saw that's scheme-wise that he was good there, that he could be good here?
I mean, I think it's not going to be that dissimilar. You know, you're going to scheme him up, a lot of quick game, a lot of RPOs, a lot of easy reads.
He's the quarterback. Just FYI.
Yeah, that's a good point. We are this. He did play quarterback at his last stop, which is a positive.
He's talking about I think maybe he wants to see Chaplin too. The left Chaplin's a left tackle.
Oh, he's like 65, right?
Yeah, you can't see my mouse, but yeah, he's the left tackle. Sorry.
No, that's good, dude. I thought that was a pretty sick question. Like, just in case, he actually did play quarterback at Auburn, so we got some good stuff there.
Quarterback out, I can, but
yeah, I mean, there's gonna be more RPOs than I think what Freeze is running here. The big complaint, I do think one of the problems that he ran into at Stanford is they were running a little bit more of a pro style system, and they're asking him to make more complicated reads, and I think that was just something that he didn't do very well and never really adapted to.
Speed out there, go back to. I mean, I think that's a good.
That last throw covered a lot of distance, right, Adam?
Yeah, so it's a timing speed out. I mean, that's you get a sense of some of his arm strength. I wouldn't say it's some, like Andrew Luck or anything like that, but he's got a live arm.
He does, yeah.
Again, I mean, everything is so rhythm based. And
I think they really simplified it at Auburn.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I mean, how was Auburn's offense when he was quarterback, though?
I don't know what the ranking. I mean, the offensive role I didn't think was great.
I mean,
how do you like this just from what we've seen, it'll be a lens that we'll continue to look at his game through, guys. But based on Florida State's projected offensive line for next year, like what type of offensive line does this guy need to succeed? Can he get it done with maybe like a less than stellar unit? Does he need guys that can really hold up in pass pro? Like, what do you guys see that he needs in front of him to be successful?
I think you probably got to build a strong run game, right? I mean, so you want guys that can get movement. I don't think you're gonna be asking him to drop back 40 times a game. If you are, you're gonna lose.
Very similar to last year.
Really decisive again. He takes off a run. There's not a lot there. They get to him. I think maybe I would like to see him keep his eyes down the field a little bit better when he is a runner, but let's see how it looks here. So, I mean, he's just out. He is scanning, so that's good. You want these athletic guys to be decisive with when they're going to take off, but also be a playmaker when you're out there. Like, don't just turn into a runner. Be willing to still pull the ball up and throw it.
Dual threat.
Yeah.
And the red zone's tough for quarterbacks like this anyway when it gets compressed. Go ahead, Kev.
Let me see. So 5.5 yards per play, 39% success rate, 11% explosive play rate when he was on the field. When he was not on the field, 5.5 yards per play, a better success rate and less explosive plays. So
not as good.
Yeah, the offense was similar, maybe less consistent, but more explosive.
I don't think there's any way to like really sugarcoat this. Like this isn't. I don't think this is what they went into the portal hoping to land at quarterback. But I think
clearly not. And their actions told you that. And that's just a consistent thing with these guys. They say they want to do one thing, they show actions of wanting to do one thing, and they did it. They did it with their head coach, with Alfred Lane Kiffin, and they did it with the offensive coordinator trying to get out of Gus, and they did it with the defensive backs coach, and they did it with this quarterback. They show you they do one thing, they can't get it done for a myriad of reasons, and then they pivot to something totally different, and they go, "Oh yeah, this was the plan all along," right?
Yeah. They like to sell you shit and tell you it's lasagna.
It's a new one.
Yeah. It just popped in my head.
I like it, dude. Let it ride.
I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, I like that. He's got his eyes up there, but that's trouble. I mean, that play there's trouble. That's like,
why is that? That's a great, why is that trouble to you?
He's got his eyes up, but he doesn't really see that. He kind of sees it late, and he's just like, he's almost throwing that more out of, I don't want to get hit here than, okay, I'm making a play.
Mm-hmm. The head doesn't move at all, right? It's locked in to the left.
That's a late ball in the middle of the field. Like, that's just
his really bad instincts when pockets collapse.
Play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it much this game, but they're in the Alabama game when he saw pressure, his whole, like, in a way that I haven't seen many college, like Division I college quarterbacks happen to, his whole mechanics change when someone's coming to his face.
Yeah. They break down
fast. Yeah. I mean, he just turns his body. He pulls away from it. He really doesn't want to be hit while he's throwing the ball.
I think this is probably a fair question from Toxic Noel. Shout out.
What's up, brother?
My LED brethren. With his price point, do you think he'll perform better than DJU since they were in the same ballpark? And for those who aren't aware, Brendan is reported on Knowles 24/7, and he's talked about it on OTB that he believes that DJU and Ashton Daniels will be getting pretty similar salaries from when they're money from when they were playing here. So,
deep ball.
I don't know. I mean, DJ missed a lot of time. That was all just a mess too. But yeah. I think DJ presented you with a lot more ceiling and probably a lot more floor too. But I didn't think DJ was much of a fit for what it was Norvell at the time, what Norvell wanted to do.
Right, and that the talent around DJ, the wide receivers were putrid. The offensive line, a lot of the guys regressed. There was no run game. Like this kid, I think he'll be surrounded by better talent than 24 Florida State. I guess I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the backfield's a lot better. I mean,
the backfield is better.
I mean, they landed Trey Wisner. I'm not sure. I apologize if which one I'm saying wrong there, but and we're gonna break down the other commitments as we go along here. We just kind of thought this was the most important one to talk about kind of individually. There he is. I mean, again, decisive running the football. But yeah, I mean, I think the backfield's going to be better with Trey, the back from Texas, and Usman Chroma. We'll see how they utilize him. And I guess Treon Webb from Florida's on campus too. Another running backs. How many damn running backs you need?
Just take who you can win in these battles, I guess. They've got, and I mean, they got a couple of. We'll take a look at the film. Solid pieces on the offensive line. The receivers will be far better than they were in 24.
Yeah. I mean, assuming you get Lloyd McCoy back or get him to stay out of the portal, you got Deuce back right now. I don't know what. He's announced me back anyway. Go ahead, Kev,
I'm gonna say a couple things that are devil's advocate.
Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna say I think he's a good fit for the Malzahn system. I think when I think of the most successful Malzahn systems, it bigger bodied running quarterbacks that were able to kind of run some power, run some of those inverted reads. You know what I'm talking about, where they
inverted veer.
It's inside. He essentially becomes an inside zone runner. I think that works. I think his style works. I kind of amended the stats I just looked up. I made it only conference play, and that changed things.
Okay.
So when he was on the field, yards per play went from 4.3 to 5.5 in conference, in SEC play.
Okay.
Since all of his snaps were in SEC play. Offensive success rate went from 36 to 39%. Explosive play rate went from 8% to 11%. So he was
improvements.
The more effective quarterback at Auburn. So he played in the SEC, was a somewhat successful quarterback at this level, but was an improvement over the guy that was starting over him in terms of how he operated the offense.
Okay.
And the third point I'll make as devil's advocate, I mean, I don't know how much I even believe all of these things I'm saying. I'm just trying to.
You don't, but I appreciate the discussion points.
I do think
Ashton Daniels supporter.
I do think there's a lot of physical talent here. I think he's a physically talented quarterback. I think he runs well. I think he's got a live enough arm to be dangerous. I think he's got a lot of fundamental issues when it comes to being a pocket passer. Like, I really just would not want to sit him up in an air raid offense. I think he would fail miserably, but you can kind of see Auburn was able to build some kind of successful offense using his skills. And I do think he has talent. I think there's physical talent there. And if I have any problem with how Mike Norvell and staff have evaluated portal stuff in the past couple of years, it's overvaluing physical traits, overvaluing combine results, 40 times, head circumference. I don't know what they're doing, but like they overvalue these physical traits and don't necessarily get guys who, are great football players, which is in stark contrast to what Indiana is doing, getting guys who have production. But I think he fits this mold. I think there's physical talent here that I don't want to ignore, right? Like there's something here that's, he's not his problem's never been that he can't throw it hard enough or he can't run it well enough. The problem is the decisions he makes, his ability to operate as a quarterback consistently and not make mistakes and not make turnovers, which is a completely different thing.
Does he kind of remind you of KJ Jefferson?
Yeah, the KJ Jefferson's an interesting comp, right?
Yeah, because he was god awful for Gus.
He was terrible, but KJ Jefferson also had
some got hurt that year, and it was a weird setup.
Yeah, but this kid has also never experienced anywhere of the highs that KJ Jefferson experienced.
No, not at all.
Too. Like it's a lower ceiling game. Maybe I don't know. Like KJ Jefferson, it's hard to look at this. It's hard to look at this take and like we're evaluating. It's just This guy's going to be the starting
Can
quarterback
we,
at Florida State University.
Yeah, that's
Can we
what's
go to
hard
another
about
game, Kev? Can we go to another game?
Yeah, this is just ridiculous. But I mean, I think you can game plan around him. The problem is going to be, no, he will not be successful if he threw the ball 40 times a game. We said the same thing as Tommy Castellanos. Guess what? They didn't want to throw the ball with him 40 times a game. Sometimes they had to because their defense was so putrid and they couldn't get the running game off the ground, which is going to happen with this Gus offense. There will be multiple times, I'm guessing probably on the road, where your running game ain't going to show up and the kid's going to have to throw the ball.
So this is Vandy. They came out and they ran a lot of empty against Vandy, which, if I recall, there was some film breakdown of a guy from does like I think he does SEC breakdowns, and he was saying that they had not run empty at all this year. They kind of sprung this on Vandy, which is interesting. It kind of reminds me of what Florida State did with Jordan Travis and LSU the first go round.
Caught him unprepared, and this was a game. This was a game that different than some of the others. He was going to be the starter from the jump. They game planned like this is an offensive game plan for Ashton Daniels specifically.
Yep.
Vanderbilt was a good team. And I think overall, I didn't see the overall stats, but he had a pretty good game, right?
Yeah, he did. He went to Stanford. He has to have a baseline of intelligence, obviously, to be playing at Stanford.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Raw intelligence-wise.
Like, you watch him, it looks like he makes right reads. And again, it goes back to the decisiveness I was kind of talking about earlier. Like, they went empty. It really simplifies things for a quarterback. And he gets the ball out on time. Like, it doesn't.
It's a lot of quick game.
Yeah, he doesn't hold it. He doesn't sit on it. I'd be curious to see. I haven't seen any of his interceptions yet. I can't recall any off the top of my head. I'm anxious to see his interceptions and if it's because he's forced to hold the ball or kind of what the circumstances are around them.
Yeah, so he's got a two-side read here. He's got stick on the top of the field. Then he's got a little kind of dig under concept on the left side of the field. He decides to work the top of the field. Thinks he's got a soft, nickel. Maybe he can hit this underneath. He sees dropping defenders, takes off. It does feel like, I bet if we went back and watched some of the Stanford games that
we're going to
this system, what Auburn kind of designed for him is a little bit more conducive to his set and more of what Mike Norvell and staff were looking at when evaluating him.
Well, he was
Auburn.
3 touchdowns, 2 picks with Auburn this year. I mean, not a huge sample size, obviously.
Does he throw a pick in this one? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's 3 touchdowns, 2 picks on the season. Let's see if I can go back and see that game.
That's a nice play.
Dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot. He had a lot of drops. They dropped the ball out. Yeah, I mean, where receiver doesn't.
That's not on him. Yeah,
he does
at all.
a good job of trying to work through the traffic and finding it.
I think you're going to see a lot of this. This is something Gus used to run back in the day. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So he was 31 of 44, 353 yards with 2 touchdowns and no picks.
Yeah, this is his best game. So we're kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Giving the highs and the lows here.
Yeah, nearly an 80 QBR.
Ball's out on time again.
Yeah, Kentucky was putrid, and Alabama was, I think it was okay.
Yeah, we don't have the Kentucky game.
No, that was his worst. I mean,
a lot of empty or motion on
YouTube. He takes a lot of shots.
He's tough, man. That's for sure. It seems the running, like you said, Kev, is pretty consistent. He holds up well over the course of a season. It looks like under a lot of duress.
Look at RPO here. We saw this earlier in the last game. So this is the glance on the backside.
Yep.
Safety squats.
It's a good ball. Good read.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I can see how they talk themselves into, oh, yeah, we love this take.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
I'm just saying...
I agree. It's
I'm
just
sitting in that room. I can see how they talk themselves into things.
They talk themselves into a lot of stuff because they don't have any other options. But, yeah, it's one of those deals where is a guy who's played college football for what, 4
years.
Bro, I was the biggest DJ hater in the freaking world. I don't know why this keeps going up. Stop it with this. I did like Tommy. I'll eat the Tommy thing. I think Tommy had when you got good Tommy, I think he was good Tommy, but he was super inconsistent.
And in fairness,
I never liked DJ.
We're not trying to find the bright. We're trying to be honest. Like, we can't sit here and just say the kid sucks because we're not happy that they're taking him. There are things that work. There are things that don't work. Is this going to work? Are they magically going to win a national title because Ashton Daniels is a quarterback? No, hell no.
No, this kid isn't. This kid isn't terrible, but he's not a Florida State caliber quarterback. Yep. And your ceiling is heavily capped. Yeah. And what you can do against good teams is heavily limited. And unless Gus Malzahn and Mike Norvell can figure out how to take an offense away from Tallahassee, you are in deep.
It's a good ball.
Crap.
And I think that this is a good point too. Like, him at 800,000, let's just say, versus Anthony Calandra, who I think got $2.5 or $3 million, maybe even $3.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, Calandra is not good.
I think he's better than Calandra. Personally,
I don't know if I agree with that, but I think he's a better fit.
Right. Sorry for this system. Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, and like the finances are a factor here, and I think people would probably be a little bit more accepting of this take if it's like, okay, you get Daniels, then you land John Walker from UCF, and then you don't have this bull crap with the Desirs, and then Earl Little is like, so you're not getting the benefits of a cheaper take at quarterback anyway, because nobody else wants to take your money.
Like, this isn't a talentless guy, right? Look at this play.
That's fair.
There's something you can do with this. There's a severe limitation to who he is as a top end quarterback. But that doesn't mean that like you can't build a good offense around him. But that's going to be so many other factors that play into that as well. You know, an offense isn't only the quarterback that is on the field. Yeah. But
absolutely. I mean, are they even going to have a good enough unit on the other side of the field? Is the defense going to be marginal enough for them to is the defense going to be marginal enough for them to play any sort of semblance of complementary football? This kid may not even be just screwed coming in by the guys on the offense with him. He'd be more screwed because of the defense he's got to play with.
Let's find Kentucky just on YouTube, I guess, Kev. Well, let's see some of the bad here.
But no, there is physical talent there. That's clear. Did
he play the whole Kentucky game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right, I'll try to find it.
Once again, it's the multifaceted conversation.
Too much. They forced so much nuance into our laps. Like, we can't sit here and we're forced to try to say positive things about this take. Not forced to say.
No, it's a fair. Listen,
there are aspects of his game that are positive, but it's just such a mess because this regime doesn't understand how to build a roster. They're bad at it, and you've just got so many other issues going on.
Yeah, it's this kid wasn't the plan. Like, if the plan was to get like a quarterback like this and then go juggernaut everywhere else, like, it's fine. The
plan was never to take a kid like this.
Exactly, and they're going to tell you it was, and it's not. Again, you guys have eyes and you read almost 24/7.
Was their top guy, and he's a poor man's this kid, or a rich man's this. Ashton Daniels, and even he isn't elite, but he's a lot better than Ashton Daniels, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you went to Calandra, but Calandra wanted too much money, and good on them for not paying up for crap. And then you went to DJ Lagway. Who, I mean, I would have personally preferred Lagway, but again, he doesn't. He doesn't necessarily fit what Gus. I mean, I thought it funny that the comment about Lagway being Cam Newton, like, that's comical.
He said that about like 4 or 5 other. Like, people pulled up all these quotes too.
Another dart.
Yeah, if
I
he can
think
take a step and throw the ball, he's got enough arm strength to do the quick game stuff.
well,
but-
I think you saw some of the things that got him in trouble, like 2 or 3 plays back, where he got kind of
Yeah.
herky jerky and do a pump fake, and then I do that, and
And
it's
he
like,
kind of
okay,
pressured Panicson.
yes. So here we go, clean. I mean, the pocket, yep, just couldn't find anybody.
Yeah,
I wouldn't consider that being highly under pressure, would you? Like the pocket was fine for, and then okay, that, not that one, the one before.
Yeah, that was a quarterback draw, I think. Just nothing there.
Yeah, they can't do anything against these Wildcats.
How is Kentucky's defense this year?
That's always pretty good, right?
I would think so, right?
More read game here for him. I mean, he just when he is a runner, he always seems to kind of fall forward and get you yards. He's holding the ball there.
Yeah.
You could see how simple this offense is for Auburn. I mean, they're throwing a lot of just hitches, a lot of quick release, getting him involved in the run game.
Boot, he's screwing him out of here. I mean, picks up an extra 20 there.
Yep, that's good. It's positive play.
Like, I don't know. This film at Auburn's not bad. It's going to be the consistency always, right? Like, you have to be able to be consistent. You have to be able to do this week in, week out. You have to be able to show up to Virginia and have a decent game, you know? Like,
just it forces everything else around him to be needs to be
a bad decision.
So much better. Yeah. Okay. So when things get muddied and he's got to make some off timing plays, that's where he gets himself into some trouble.
Right. And Auburn is trying their best to keep him out of that situation.
Yeah. His style of play is like you got to stay out of the chains, and everybody around him has to play really well.
Right. Because here's 4th and 6. He's got to make a read. He's got to look downfield. He's looking at pressure here when he's got yards of time, and he takes his eyes off downfield, and
he's just staring at what's going on in front of him.
So when everything goes great, he can win some games. And how many times has everything gone according to plan here at Florida State University in the past couple years?
Mike Norvell's known for that.
He's set up to fail. It's
unfortunately they all are. I mean, that's the reality.
But like you said, it's when the pressure's there, when he's got to read, when the run game's taken away, when it's an obvious passing down. It's good quarterbacks, great quarterbacks, historic Florida State caliber quarterbacks can erase some of the warts on an imperfect roster, which is why we wanted them to spend money on a really, really good one, because we knew that they were going to have some warts on the roster this offseason.
And this is a condensed game, so we're kind of flying through it, but you can kind of see what Kentucky's MO was this game. It was essentially, you know, we're going to let you have some things in the middle of the field, but we don't think you're going to be able to sustain a long drive and have a ton of success in the red zone, which is what Stevens did against Florida State this past year. And it works, and it limits the offense because you're not going to ask him to, like, when the field gets compressed and you're in the red zone and he's got to start making reads, you're not going to be as successful doing it. So, I mean, that Kentucky's going to keep too high. They're going to say you can run for, you know, however many yards you want to run for, but you're not going to score any points.
Yeah.
Do teams that played Florida State this year that were playing in 2026, do they even need to change the defensive game plan, or can they just run what they ran in 25 again?
I mean, I think that no, I don't think you need to change a lot. I think you double deuce and you dare the rest of the crew to beat you.
You put a cap on the defense. You let them do exactly what Auburn's doing here. They're marching down the field, getting lots of yards, but I guarantee you this condensed game cuts out before we see, right? Can they get 6 first downs in a row?
3rd and 7, obvious passing down. Let's see what happens here.
It wasn't that the MO for Florida State this year? Boatload of yards, but couldn't score points.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Put them in as many 3rd downs as possible. It could be 3rd and 4, whatever. Is Ashton Daniels going to convert 5 3rd downs in a row to score? No.
Especially once the field gets constricted down there and you can't just throw it deep and outrun somebody or out physical somebody. Like, yeah.
Bank on eventually stopping them on 3rd downs, make them nickel and dime you, and be consistent. And That's the MO. That's how you stop them.
The defense is going to be, and I know we're talking about the quarterback, but I'm just thinking about the other side of the
Daniels is out, I
ball.
think.
They took him out. The defense is going to be so awful this year that they're going to be under so much game pressure. The kid's going to be under literal pressure from the defensive game plan, from the obvious passing downs, from having to convert. He's going to be under so much game pressure because I feel like he's going to be behind so much.
Who do
it is what it is.
Aaron Nolan, Dylan Raiola, or Austin Novosad? What do you think? I mean, Aaron Nolan hasn't really shown anything. Raiola, you were never going to afford. Novosad, Kev's a big Michael Van Buren fan. He just went
Van
to
Buren boys.
I don't know. I would have taken the shot on DJ Uiagalelei personally. I just think the upside potential's there. You're bad. You're going to be bad most likely no matter what. Like, see if he can't match or reach his physical potential and carry you a little bit. That's just my opinion, though.
Here's Stanford versus SMU.
Okay, is this 24, Kev?
Yeah,
23, 24. Okay.
Should be.
So we'll see. Lots of picks. He threw a lot of picks at Stanford. Yeah. You can see kind of just his eyes are very poor in the pocket when the pocket starts collapsing. So pocket starts collapsing. He's got a guy here. He sees that window close and he just kind of backs up. He got it out.
Loves to avoid pressure.
Yeah, falling back. That only works so often.
Late throws over the middle of the field. That's kind of been a consistent thing with him, right, Adam?
Yeah, we've seen it a little bit in the tape we've watched so far tonight.
Heck yeah, nice little toss sweep there. That warms your cold heart, Adam Brown.
Man,
all right.
Stanford offensive line is getting eaten up. You can see as soon as a pocket collapses, he's just panic mode.
Luckily, Florida State has to rebuild an entire offensive line. It's
spreading him out here a little bit, moving the pocket. That's a nice throw again. Like, arm talent's there.
When somebody's got the arm, but you see the accuracy, you see the poor yards after catch, you see the turnovers. What's the main culprit of that, guys? If the physical talent's there, is it mechanics? Is it between the ears stuff? Even though he's a smart kid, like reading the game, what do you guys attribute that to with the arm talent that he has?
I think a lot of them are every situation is probably different. I would attribute his to pressure. I think he sees the rush way too much.
Yep, it's in his head. To be honest, it might be bad. I mean, we're watching this Stanford film. This offensive line is getting eaten up. I think he could probably develop some bad habits at Stanford. Like they got nothing. Like there's.
That was a good SMU defense too, but yeah,
SMU's just eating their double teams. Yeah, this is ACC championship, SMU, right?
Mm-hmm. And we got a go ball here. He's got him. Did you get it to him?
Oh yeah, under through it.
It looked like he hung up on him.
Yeah.
Does he step into it? I don't think he steps into it. I think you got to drive this one.
Yeah, he's falling back.
Falling backwards. Again, we saw that from Tommy this year. Just afraid to step into a throw and eat a hit in the chest.
Yeah, you can see like the difference in game plan between how Stanford tried to use him and how Auburn did is kind of dramatic and kind of changes how he looks as a quarterback. I mean, this is a kind of a full field read. They're expecting him to go through a progression. He's pretty slow to do it, and then when he sees pressure, he has to escape.
What's the stuff that Gus really has to emphasize in his offense next year for this kid that maybe they didn't even emphasize as much at Florida State that he has at other stops?
I mean, you make it simple.
How?
Gus already does, none of his reads. He's not doing anything crazy. Everything's like one or two 1 or 2 read progression. He's trying to make the passing game easy by focusing on so much on the run game, RPOs,
I don't know. What was the percentage of RPOs that we even ran last year? And was that because of an unwillingness to throw on the RPO from Tommy? I don't think we saw as many RPOs this year as we thought we were going to, right?
Yeah, there was less, and that might have been a Tommy thing because, it's been pretty consistent over Gus Malzahn's past few years that they run a lot of RPOs.
Okay. So maybe that percentage might uptick this year naturally.
Yeah. They threw more go routes and more comebacks and stuff like that this past year.
Well, a lot of straight play action too, right?
Yeah, they just weren't. They still didn't do a ton of like full field reads. It's a pretty simple offense. They're not. Oh, this is a bad read. Yeah, I don't know what he's looking at here. They're kind of running a smash concept, a slot fade kind of thing, high-lowing this corner. This corner stays back, so he, in theory, has a one-on-one with this slot. But you've got to put this ball. You got to put this ball towards the sideline, way away from the safety, and he leaves it. He throws it late towards the middle of the field.
Ooh.
Like if he throws that, if he makes this read right now, all right, this corner's engaged.
What Levitt smoke?
If he throws this at the top of the numbers right here, this is a huge play. But he holds onto it too long, then lets it drift to the middle of the field.
Look at where that ball ends up, dude. How's the crosswind in Palo Alto that time of year? Levitt smoke. What the?
Let's be real. I think what's hard about evaluating a Gus Malzahn offense, evaluating a Gus Malzahn quarterback, Nick Marshall was not some elite quarterback, not some guy that was going to make 6 reads and go through progressions and do all this stuff. He's not someone who's going to be that accurate throwing the ball downfield. He's going to be someone who's very limited. Nick Marshall won a lot of games at Auburn with Gus Malzahn's offense.
Nick Marshall won a lot of games at Auburn a dozen years ago, and people have kind of figured this stuff out by then. They've had about a decade and some change. It's not so earth-shattering anymore.
Gus hasn't really had a good offense in a while. Like a good offense.
Like
a point scoring
average.
Offense.
He's had average offenses.
He has offenses. One of the tough things about Gus Malzahn's offenses is they score so many points against inferior opponents that it inflates their stats to the point where, you can look at it and be like, okay, they're a top 30 offense every year for X years or whatever. But are they really,
I think I don't even judge the Malzahn offenses by the stats. And it's kind of funny. UCF people are saying, oh, you're going to find out. Because you look at the total stats, I judge it by just the points of extreme frustration that I felt so many times during the season watching them. I don't know, guys. It is what it is. Okay, let's TLDR this thing. Do you feel better or worse about the player, not the take? We all agree this isn't a Florida State caliber take. Whatever. We know that, and there's a lot of reasons why, and we're going to talk about those reasons in multiple media, whatever. Do you feel better or worse about the player after watching more film than you did a couple nights ago? Adam, you first.
Yeah, I don't feel a whole lot different.
Same.
I didn't feel like the other night he should be the quarterback you go with, and I feel the same way now. Like, it just isn't good enough.
Kev, you devil's advocated. Time to reveal to the audience. Did you actually mean it, or are you just trying to stir up some nice combo? Or do you feel a little bit more optimistic? A little bit. Not overall optimistic.
I think I was feeling when we watched this film the other day that if they had taken him, like, you're looking at like a 3-win season. Like it was a disaster. So that's what I'm devil's advocating. No, I think if you protect him and you build a game plan that accentuates his strengths, you can have a competent offense and you can win some football games. You can have, whatever. There's a severe cap on where you're looking at in terms of wins loss. Like, this is Florida State, right? Like, I'm sitting here going, oh, I think Ashton Daniels might be good enough that if you have a decent defense, you could make a bowl game. Like, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, he's good enough, right? Like, he's someone that, like, if we were playing that Auburn team and I was doing a film study for them, I would say, okay, they built a pretty decent game plan around his strengths. This offense can be a little bit dangerous, and he's the one that's running the offense. So like there is something there. Is he going to win the ACC? No. Is he gonna bring Florida State back to worth it? Probably not, right? Like there's when you're looking at a quarterback and you're saying, okay, we've got to build an offense around his strengths to avoid his very real weaknesses, which is making multiple reads downfield and being an accurate downfield passer. That's not like a great weakness that you want to have to be building around. And it kind of frames the conversation of, okay, now you have a limited offense, right? You have an offense that does some things really well, but it's limited. There's a cap, because you look at this guy and you say, there's strengths here, there's talents here that can be useful, that can be good, but they're not something that, like, you're not saying like, hey, this is going to be an elite offense. We're going to be, the greatest show on turf because he's going to be chucking the ball all over the place. No, you're saying we're going to have to build an offense that's limited, that's simplified, that gets the ball out of his hands, that gets his feet moving forward, that has some major
keeps me from getting fired offense.
Yeah, well,
right. So
they played that game this year. Yeah,
he's a talented player. There's upsides. You're going to see moments this year where you're like, wow, that was a pretty special play. He's got talent. He's not going to win you ever like all these games. He's going to be enough to keep you in a lot of games. He's going to be enough to keep Malzahn's offense the top 40 on SP Plus or whatever. But we're going to be frustrated because they're not going to score points. They're going to get a lot of yards. And that's what it is. And that's who he is. And he fits the system all right. There's real strengths. I actually think his season last year at Auburn showed that he's better than whatever they had outside of him. And that's encouraging. Is he elite? Is he someone that you bring in, like Virginia brought in Chandler Morris last year and goes out and has the best year they've had in years? No. The staff is allergic to getting guys who've won football games and had production. They just hate it. They hate the idea that to win, I should get some guys who know how to win. They don't understand that concept. They have no idea that winners win, and whatever your ankle size is doesn't really matter that much in the scheme of football games. They do not care. They don't understand. They don't think winning is important. They think quad thickness is how you win football games. And this is another indication of that. Hey, yeah, this guy probably runs a 4.5 40 and he could probably throw the ball 70 yards. Who freaking cares? Go win a football game. He hasn't shown he can win a football game anywhere he's been. He's shown some success at Auburn. He's a talented kid. There's something there to like. It's clear, right? Like if we're playing NCAA football, he's a fun player to play with because he can scramble and he can throw the ball over people's heads. But real life games aren't determined by your NCAA football rating. We need some winners on this team. We need some production. And that's just how I feel about it. I don't know. That's probably way too much.
I've just rode the roller coaster of emotions there.
I like it.
I don't know how I feel.
You feel like how we all feel. It's not good enough. We know it's not good enough. We're gonna give the kid a fair shake. It's not even his fault that he's the starting quarterback of Florida State University, man.
That's a good one, Bill. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's good stuff, guys. We're going to talk about this. We've got a lot more transfer portal film to break down. We had to get you the QB1 video out. That's out. Hope you all enjoyed it. What a fun experience. We got some offensive linemen to look at. We got a pretty darn good running back to talk about. I think we got some people on defense to kind of talk about. Still need a lot more. There's a lot. This is quite a transfer portal. This is quite an off season. You'll have takes, you'll have analysis, you'll have film breakdown. We're going to be with you every step of the way. We appreciate you guys who are on the live stream with us. Misery loves company, but the only thing that we love more than misery, we love you guys. You're the best. We're going to be here all portal season. Get on Knowles247.com to see all the. It's just been great news every second, man. Just get on there. I bet you guys missed some really good news while we were talking. Get on that forum and see what's going on. We love you guys. if you can. If you can muster
Get
it.
that arm up still.
Keep chopping, guys. We'll never stop. See you later.